Hello, welcome back to the breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you are watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got another update coming out regarding Iran and their nuclear program to share with you guys. And we've been hearing recently that over the next couple of months, maybe the U.S. might carry out some sort of airstrikes inside of Iran to denuclearize them. So I have a new update here from Marco Rubio, who is the Secretary of State for the U.S. So check out your screen. Marco Rubio says Trump will take action if talks with Iran fail. Secretary of State Marco Rubio clarified that President Donald Trump will take action to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon if efforts to negotiate a new Iran nuclear deal fail. Okay, so once again, we're hearing that Iran needs to sign some sort of nuclear deal with the U.S. sometime soon, or potentially the U.S. will carry out military action and try to strike and destroy their underground nuclear facilities in Iran. Okay, and we also gave you guys a report recently that Iran was given two months to reply to the U.S. and sign a nuclear deal. If not, most likely military action is going to be carried out. And so far, we haven't heard any response from Iran other than last week. The Iranian supreme leader and also the president basically telling Donald Trump, the U.S. president, to take a hike, do whatever they want. If they want to go ahead and attack Iran, go for it. But apparently, they are ready to respond and launch a major missile attack back at anybody who attacks them. So clearly, this would lead to some sort of war if we do see the U.S. carry out some strikes in Iran. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. I also briefly have some updates regarding the Israelis. Looks like they are moving into the Gaza Strip once again with a ground operation, so we'll talk about that. And then a quick update regarding the Houthi rebels of Yemen. So we'll kind of talk about different areas of the Middle East in this update. But let's talk about Iran briefly here. So this is a report from the Times of Israel. Rubio says Trump will take action against Iran if nuclear diplomacy falls short. Okay, this coming out today, March 20th, 2025. And it says here, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says President Donald Trump will order military action against Iran to prevent it from getting a nuclear weapon, albeit reluctantly. If you asked him, he would tell you he would much prefer to work this out diplomatically without a war. Rubio tells conservative radio host Hugh Hewitt, if I'm saying that right. But if you force him to choose between a nuclear Iran or taking action, the president has been clear he will take action. Hewitt also asked Rubio whether the U.S. would act alone if it comes to the blows. Okay, so it looks like the U.S. is willing to go to war with Iran because most likely this would start a war between the U.S. and Iran if they do so. As again, I said that Iran has come out multiple times recently saying they've put their missile forces on high alert. They are prepared for a major attack from the U.S. and also prepared to retaliate if need be. And it also says here if the president makes a decision that we need to take action to prevent Iran from having a nuclear capability, we have the ability to do that and to go further, perhaps even threaten the regime, he top U.S. diplomat adds. If diplomacy with Iran fails, then I have to turn things over to Pete Hegseth at the Department of Defense, Rubio adds. Okay, so the U.S. is very serious about signing some sort of nuclear deal with Iran to diplomatically resolve this situation. And we'll see if Iran is not able to produce a nuclear weapon. But if nuclear talks fail, we're going to see the U.S. carry out a major strike. Okay, so let's go ahead and hop on over to X now. I've got a few things I can share with you guys over here from World Source News 24/7. Axios reports a high-ranking Israeli team is anticipated to arrive at the White House early next week for critical discussions regarding Iran. Okay, this just came out just in the last couple hours of the time that I record this for you guys, just today on March 20th. So it looks like Israel is going to be heading to the U.S. to talk about Iran. Okay, so it looks like this strike could be coming very soon. And we don't know if Israel is going to be involved in this attack. I would think they would be. But right now, the U.S. is definitely open to striking Iran if need be. Now, from the Times of Israel alerts, IDF says it has expanded Gaza ground operation in Rafah. Okay, so the IDF is moving back into Rafah again. This is the southernmost portion of the Gaza Strip. There's a small city, well, actually a pretty good sized city over there. And at one point, there was over 1 million people staying there, as many of them fled from the northern side of Gaza down to Rafah. Well, now it looks like Israel's moving back in over there to try to eliminate Hamas. So the fighting is opening up again back on the ground. Here's a video from Vicegrad 24 breaking. The IDF has entered Rafah again. there are now Israeli ground operations in southern, central, and northern Gaza. Okay, so all over Gaza, looks like Israel starting to open up with fighting again. So, quick video, just 3 seconds. Take a look at this. Okay, so it sounds like there's like helicopters in the skies. We can see lots of smoke here. Israel's still been hammering the Gaza Strip quite a bit, and now they're starting to move in on the ground in multiple areas. Last night, I think it was reported that they were starting to move in on the north side, but now they're jumping into Rafah once again, which was one of the last remaining strongholds for Hamas just prior to the ceasefire being committed to by both sides, by Israel and Hamas. So it looks like the war is opening back up again, and Israel's going to try to eliminate Hamas. Now, for Mosin Defender, the Israel Defense Force has announced that it intercepted, a long-range ballistic missile fired earlier by the Iranian-backed Houthis at central Israel, with the missile being intercepted outside of Israeli airspace, likely once again by an Arrow 3 exo-atmospheric anti-ballistic missile interceptor over Jordan or Saudi Arabia. So this has actually happened, I think, once or twice this week already, as we've been having the Houthis still firing missiles over here at Israel once again. So just real quick, we'll take a look at this, 50 seconds, but we're not going to watch the whole thing. Okay, so this was inside of Israel tonight as we had this incoming Houthi ballistic missile once again being fired. I think they're claiming it's hypersonic. I'm not sure 100% if it was, but the Houthis have been claiming they've been firing hypersonic missiles towards Israel. But as far as we know, Israel's been taking all of them down. I think there's been at least 2 fired just this week, and I'm sure Israel will want to take action against that. So take a look at this from Vivid. U.S. message to Israel: leave the Houthis to us. We'll handle them. I don't envy the Houthis. Wow, Trump is dead serious about annihilating them. Okay, so we've already been seeing pretty much an entire week-long campaign of the U.S. Navy and the Air Force just pounding the Houthis down there in Yemen. And, because Israel's being attacked by these missiles, usually Israel will respond, launch major airstrikes inside of Yemen. And looks like the U.S. was calling on Israel to stand down, and they're going to go ahead and carry out these retaliatory strikes for Israel. Okay, so probably pretty soon we're going to be hearing some major strikes inside of Yemen against the Houthis, much worse than we've been seeing already. So now from Trey Yingst, who's the chief foreign correspondent for Fox News. He's usually located inside of Tel Aviv in Israel. And he reported today American strikes against the Houthis in Yemen are continuing. Okay, so strikes still ongoing for nearly a week now inside of Yemen against the Houthis. Finally, one last thing from Times of Israel alerts: U.S. reportedly launches 4 strikes on Yemen's Hodeidah. Okay, this was just coming out recently in the last few hours on March 20th, also today. So it looks like these strikes are already taking place, and these are probably partially retaliatory strikes from Israel being attacked at the same time. So the U.S. is trying to put as much pressure on the Houthis right now to stop them from attacking ships down there. As just over the last week, we heard the Houthis coming out stating that they would now start attacking Israeli ships and also U.S. ships. U.S. warships reportedly being targeted. I think the Houthis, I think they came out today or sometime yesterday evening, stating they had targeted the USS Harry Truman aircraft carrier over there again, or some sort of U.S. warship that's located. They said they had a direct hit. I haven't been able to confirm that. But last time we heard from top chain of command from U.S. military, they were stating that the Houthis were missing targets by 100 miles, like the Harry Truman that reportedly was attacked like twice in the last week. So, this war is still pretty crazy over here in the Middle East, and even though we're not talking a whole lot about it, just wanted to give you guys some updates on what's going on over here with Israel, with Iran, and also the U.S. and the Houthis down there. Still a lot of strikes taking place, and now major war erupting inside of the Gaza Strip once again. And then we'll wait to see how the U.S. is going to deal with Iran with their nuclear program. And this all ties back to them at the end of the day, because Iran is the one funding Hamas and the Houthis down in Yemen. So just want to give you guys some updates. I want to thank you so much for tuning in for this. If you got something out of this update, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. With that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.